The Dodge Charger ScatPack is by far the best bang for buck muscle car on the market right now in 2023. It features the biggest engine on the market with the 6.4 liter V8 Hemi naturally aspirated, putting down 485 horsepower. It's also got the largest trunk space of all of the muscle cars on the market right now in 2023, with a folding down rear back seat as well for extra space if need be. And it's also 4 doors, which makes it the perfect utilitarian sedan for day-to-day life and travel. You can't beat this car on the market at all. With the amount of power that this car is putting down and the size and all of the amenities and capabilities of this car, there are no other cars on the market that's like this, that can beat this in this market, which makes the ScatPack Charger the best car in the muscle car segment in 2023. And you can get all of this car for a little over $50,000, which beats out all the competitors on the market. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Knockout 360 here with another video, man. So you can tell I'm in a car that makes us a car vlog. You already know what's going down when I come around. Let's get into it. Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you're in the right place. For everyone else, hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you know what's coming out and when it's coming out. So let's talk. I've always said this, man, and I stand on this, that the ScatPack Charger and even the ScatPack Challenger is by far the best muscle car in the muscle car segment in 2023. And personally, I would say it was the best muscle car from 2020 on. And I'm gonna explain why. Number one, the power. It's got the most power of all three of the big American manufacturers. And I say that to say, Chevy, the SS1LE is putting down 455 horsepower, right? The 2023 2023 Mustang Mach 1, right, with that big V8 5.0-liter engine, is putting down right at, let's see here, I just had it. Yeah, it's putting down just at 450 horsepower, right, with 410 pound-feet of torque. The ScatPack, however, the ScatPack Charger and the ScatPack Challenger, is putting down 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque with that 392 naturally aspirated Hemi, which makes it, on paper, the most powerful car in that market, right? Price-wise, let's be honest here, the Camaro, it starts at $49,140. The 2023 5.0 Mustang starts at, what are they starting this bad boy at? Starts at $56,570. And a 2023 Dodge Charger ScatPack Widebody, mind you, will start you at $56,325, and a slim body is going to start you at $50,330. So technically, you can save $6,000 if that Widebody option is not important to you. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to want a Widebody, which is where you'll be looking at about $56,325, and then it may be a little more, a little less, depending on your options. But let's talk about it here, specifically the Charger, man. The Challenger as well, we can talk about the Challenger too. But for the Charger, being that it's 4-door, sedan, you can do a lot with it. You have no idea how many guys in my car club daily drive their ScatPack. You know, they daily drive their ScatPack on the day-to-day basis, and even their Hellcat Charger, right? You've got a 4-door sedan with the back seat that actually folds down. I've had 60, 70-inch TVs in my car. I've had all sorts of stuff in my car. Lay that back seat down, you can do a whole lot with it, much more than you can a Chevy or Ford Mustang. I mean, Ford Mustangs are bigger than Chevy Camaro. Chevy Camaro is probably the worst sitting automobile that I've ever sat in, and I've sat in quite a few. I've even sat in Lamborghinis, McLarens that felt better than a Chevy Camaro. Camaros feel claustrophobic, or they make me feel claustrophobic, you know. I just don't like the feel of it. It's a one-trick pony, and I say that to say it's strictly a performance car, right? The trunk space is smaller than a backpack, you know. So there is no trunk space, so there is no utilitarian aspect to it. Of course, it's 2 doors, and you're not going to fit somebody in the back seat aside from a child. You know, a child under the age of like 13, you know. Anything over 13 years old, you're going to be cramped up to the max. It's honestly the worst sitting, feeling car that I've ever sat in. Now, that's the amenities aspect of that car. Performance-wise, it performs like a beast. You know, it's low to the ground. It's lighter than a Scat, lighter than a Mustang, I believe. You know, obviously, when you move up to the ZL1, you get that big 6-liter, 6-liter V8 engine, if I'm not mistaken, that ZL1. So it's a monster as far as the performance is concerned. But it's one of those cars where it's a one-trick pony. It's strictly for performance. That's not the kind of car that you're 9 times out of 10 going to daily drive on the day-to-day basis. Not me personally. And I'm not a real tall guy. I'm right at like 5'10", 5'11", and I'm 265. You know what I'm saying? I did not like that car at all. At all. It just claustrophobic whatsoever. It's just claustrophobic. It's just really tight in there. The visibility is terrible in that car. Like, to my understanding, I had a coworker that had a Camaro SS, and she bought it from Chevy, and she told me, and I don't know how true this is, but the people at Chevy angled her rearview mirrors in such a way that it allowed her to have, you know, the full vision and visibility around her car. And she had to do that because, you know, like I know that rear window is so small and the angle is so terrible, you can't really see anything behind you. You know, unless you're looking out your rearview mirrors or your side mirrors, you can't see anything to the left and to the right of you. The mirror, the window in the back is very small, you know, and pretty much useless. The trunk is useless. The windows are useless. It's very cramped in the car. A lot of people like that because they say that it makes them feel connected with the road because it's so low and because everything's so tight in there. It feels like a fighter cockpit, a fighter jet cockpit, which I understand that and I get it. I think the Camaro's a beast as far as the performance is concerned, but is it the best bang for buck when it comes to a V8 muscle car in its class? Absolutely not. I think it's a one-trick pony. It's the type of car that if you want to have fun, you can do so, but it may just be you and your girlfriend, you and your wife, but that's about it. I can't see 2 grown men sitting in a Camaro together comfortably, you know? The Ford Mustang, however, is a little different. I think all of those cars kind of fit me kind of tight, to be honest with you, because I sat in my man Will, his GT500, and I also sat in my man Cedric's Mach 1. And I feel like the GT500 was even more cramped and more claustrophobic than the Mach 1. The Mach 1 was actually pretty decent. I sat pretty fine in that one. The GT500, not so much. It was a little bit tighter. Didn't really get a good seat as far as in that car. And, you know, with that particular situation, it was 2 grown men sitting in that car. And I felt like I had to kind of, you know, keep my shoulders kind of close because I couldn't stretch out like I wanted to. Now, once again, the power, the performance, it's all there. You know, it's a Mustang. Come on now. The Mach 1, the power, the performance is all there. Same thing. The only gripe that I have with the interior of the Mach 1, aside from it being a little bit tight, is the buttons. I didn't like the plastic silver chrome looking buttons and the little tabs and stuff that you push down. I didn't like that Ford. I think it's Ford Link or something like that. That's what it's called. I did not like that interface whatsoever. That blue and white background, I thought it was real basic, to be honest with you, relative to Dodge Chargers and Challengers. I just didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like the interface. I really didn't like the button layout. A lot of things in that car felt cheap. You know what I'm saying? Relative to what I'm used to in Dodge muscle cars. Not to make it seem like Dodge is putting out AMG quality interiors, because they're certainly not. I just didn't like it, you know. But the ScatPack, Charger, and Challenger. Let's start with the Challenger because it is 2-door, but it's a 2-door that's usable. Like that back seat, you can actually utilize that. I've actually had grown men, I've actually been in a Challenger where a grown man was in the back seat of the car while I was in the passenger and while somebody was in the front seat. And I myself had actually sat in the back seat of a Challenger while there were 2 other grown adults in the front and the passenger seat. Now, granted, it's not the most comfortable in the world, but it's significantly better than a Mustang or Camaro. That trunk, once again, is huge. The trunk on the Challenger is huge as well. The trunk on the Charger is larger still. You know what I mean? You can do so much with the Charger. The Charger, and that's kind of the basis of this video, is by far just the best all-around muscle car on the market. Yeah, the Charger ScatPack is by far the all-around best muscle car on the market. I mean, for the price, you get you a wide body, $56,000. You know, like I know, you may not get it for that at the dealership of 2023, especially after you option it out how you choose. But if you go to used car route, you can certainly get it around that, or probably even lower, significantly lower, to be honest with you, because they went the wide body route in 2020, which is what this Scat is. And then, not to mention, let's be honest here, from the outside looking in and even from the inside looking out, the only difference from a Hellcat Charger wide body and a ScatPack Charger wide body is the damn hood. You know, the inserts in the hood. That's the only difference. Everything else is literally the same. The fender flares are the same. The bumpers are the same. Obviously, the emblems are different. One's a Hellcat badge and the other one's a 392 Hemi badge. But everything is the same. When you sit on the inside, everything is the same except for a Hellcat graphic as opposed to a 392 ScatPack B graphic. 392B, 392B, replace all that with Hellcats and you got the same car. And I say all that to say, like, you would be hard pressed to tell the difference between a Scat or a Cat from a distance up until you got up on it. So it's one of those things like you're getting the look of a Hellcat, you're getting the feel of a Hellcat, and obviously you're just not getting the power of a Hellcat. 485 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque, and a $56,000 automobile. I mean, Dodge knocks it out the park. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, these cars were significantly cheaper back in the day. I think, you know, Scats back in the day was starting at like 45,000. You know, so obviously the price is going up, but that's just the market that we're living in. Everything has gone up. Mustangs have gone up, Camaros have gone up, everything has gone up. But I think with Dodge, specifically the Charger, you're just getting the best of all worlds. You're getting the best bang for your buck as far as the price is concerned. You're getting the power. Let's be honest here. A lot of people don't need 700 horsepower. You know, 485 horsepower is plenty power for probably 90% of the population. It's too much, to be honest with you. Because if you go on Instagram and you see all of these Scats wrapped around poles and trees and in ditches, it lets you know that there's a lot of people in the world that don't need 485 horsepower. You get the sound, you get the power, you get the looks, you get all of the functionality in the SRT pages, all that stuff of a Hellcat. But you're not paying Hellcat prices, and obviously you're not getting a Hellcat engine. The ScatPack is just the perfect car all the way around. I mean, you get the sound of it. If you want to, you know, tune it. I know a guy personally that's got 1,000 horsepower ScatPack. I know hella guys that's twin turbo their ScatPack. I know a guy that's got an SRT 392 Challenger that's putting down a little over 1,100 horsepower. You know what I'm saying? SRT 392 Challenger, 485 horsepower naturally, or by default, stock, I'm sorry, now putting down 1,100 after everything that he's done to it. So if you want to turn it into a project car, you can certainly do that. It's a 426 Hemi. That's what he calls it. So you can certainly do that if that's what the route that you want to take. Or if you just want to keep it simple, maybe a mid muffler delete, throw on some 5-inch tips, black out the tint, and you're done. You got a monster. You got a loud, powerful, fast monster with all of the accoutrements of a Hellcat without the Hellcat. And I think for 90% of the population, that is perfect. Truth be told, I think 375 horsepower in the RT is plenty power for a lot of people. But, you know, some guys like a little more, which I can understand. And, of course, with the RTs, you don't get the SRT body kit, the wide body kit, all that stuff. So I get it. But you get the look and the functionality of a Hellcat without the Hellcat and the Hellcat price. So that's why I believe that the ScatPack is by far just the best. The ScatPack Charger specifically, the ScatPack in general, but the ScatPack Charger specifically is just kind of the best bang for buck. And that leads me to my next point. You know, for you guys that have Scats right now that are on the fence about Hellcats or red eyes and shit like that, unless you really, really want a Hellcat, and unless you've got the money for a Hellcat, and I say the discretionary income or discretionary funds for a Hellcat set away, I'm going to be honest with you. Your ScatPack is the best of all worlds. Your ScatPack is plenty of power. Your ScatPack is nothing to sneeze at. ScatPacks are getting BMWs. They're obviously getting Chevys. They're obviously getting Fords. The only thing that's really beating ScatPacks, like I said, is when you get to the top tier performance cars, your Z01s, your GT500s, you know, obviously your Hellcats, shit like that, BMW, Comp, you know, 5 Series, all that shit, your AMGs. Like, once you get to the top tier of manufacturers' performance cars, that's when the ScatPack starts to, you know, kind of pale in comparison. But for 90% of what's on the road, the ScatPack is plenty of power. It's plenty of power. It's plenty of size. It's comfortable. I've had my car full of people and taking them on trips. Everybody was stretched out. Everybody was comfortable. A lot of times I ride by myself for the most part in my Scat, and I'm stretched out and I'm chilling. You know, I've had my car full of groceries. I've had it full of luggage. I've taken my car from Atlanta to South Carolina to Florida, all over the damn South, Virginia, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever. Such a comfortable car, such a comfortable ride. You can throw this bitch in eco mode, throw it in cruise control. Like I said, I took this shit to Atlanta, Georgia for a business trip. And I lie to you not, I got 23.5 miles to the gallon in the car, 23.5, which for 485 horsepower naturally aspirated V8 Hemi, I think that's pretty good. I'm sure some of you guys have gotten better, but I mean, you know, the range meter, or the range miles meter or whatever, I was getting almost 400 miles on range once I got up to 23.5 miles to the gallon. So if you, and it's got that variable valve timing to where, you know, if you're on the highway and you're doing like 65, 70, and you're consistent at that, it'll kill what, 4 of the 8 cylinders in your car. So instead of a V8, it takes it down to a 4-cylinder, which, you know, obviously saves gas and stuff like that. But as soon as you want all 8 cylinders, just hit the gas and it'll activate it automatically. So, I mean, this car really is the best bang for buck all around. Like, it just makes sense. I know a lot of people that daily drive these cars. I know people that are taking these cars from state to state, taking them on trips. And then come Saturday or Sunday, they're at the strip. You know, they're at the drag strip. They're at the car meet. So you can do a whole lot with the ScatPack charger for under realistically $60,000, $50,000 if you want to go the used car market route. You know, that's why I'm a huge advocate for Scats. Like I always say this, man, for you guys that have Scats right now, whether it's a wide body, slim body, TA, Daytona, Charger, Challenger, if you really don't need or want a Hellcat, stay with your Scat. Your Scat is plenty of power, it's plenty of car, it's plenty of features, it's plenty of everything that you need. Trust me. 90% of the population is perfectly fine with 485 horsepower. You don't need anything more than that. You may want it, but you don't need it. Unless you're taking your Hellcat to the strip and making some damn money off of it, you do not need, there is no sensible reason as to why a human being needs a 700 horsepower, 800 horsepower muscle car. You don't need that power, you know. You just don't. 485 is perfect. It's the perfect medium. And honestly, RT guys, shout out to my 5'7" brothers and sisters out there. The RT platform is perfect. If it wasn't perfect, you wouldn't see police departments using it. You know, 5'7", you know, V8. I've heard, I think the loudest cars that I've ever heard, the loudest Mopar that I've ever heard was a 5'7". It was a 5'7". Of course, it had a bunch of work done to it, but it was a 5'7" nonetheless. So once again, guys, 9 times out of 10, the perfect Mopar for you to have is the Mopar that you're driving right now. That 5'7" is perfect. You know, 5'7" is tried and true. Like that's an engine that has been around longer than a lot of us have been around on this earth. That engine is tried and true. That transmission is tried and true. You don't have to worry about that. That engine is going to give you everything you need for the next 5 to 7 years, depending on how you treat it. You know, the 6'4" is that, I mean, it's the perfect muscle car. Like Dodge sells more 6'4s than anything else, more than RTs, more than V6s, more than Hellcats. The 6'4 is by far the most popular engine by Dodge right now. I mean, that's why they put that engine in every goddamn car that they can possibly conceive. The Charger, the Challenger, the Durango, the have they put it in the Ram? I don't think so. They put it in the Wrangler. They put the 6'4 in the 300. They put that 6'4 engine in every car that they possibly can because they know that they can. Oh, I think the Ram has a 6'4 Hemi too. It does have a 6'4 Hemi. So, I mean, they put that engine in every conceivable automobile that they produce, with the exception of the Dodge Caravan, which I don't think exists anymore. So there's a reason that they put that engine in every car that they have, because it's a tried and true engine. It gives you everything that you want. It gives you the power, the sound, the V8 experience, all that stuff. And then, of course, if you are a speed junkie like myself, or if you like to get into some wild stuff, that's when you get into the Hellcat and so on and so forth above that. But like I said, guys, the ScatPack that you're in right now is perfect. You don't need to upgrade if you don't need to. I'll put it like this. If you don't need to upgrade, then don't. Your ScatPack is perfect. If you got an RT and you don't need to upgrade, your RT is perfect. But if you want to get that middle of the road kind of best of all worlds automobile, and you're in the market, and maybe you're not a Mopar head like me, and you're comparing Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, that ScatPack charger is perfect. It's the best of all worlds. The look, the feel of it, it looks like a Hellcat. Has all of the amenities of a Hellcat. It just doesn't have the engine and the badges. Literally, that's it. But I would go ScatPack wide body all day long. Like, if I didn't do what I did, I would be perfectly fine in this car. Like, you would see me in this car for the next however so long up until I decide to trade it or pass it down to future generations. You know what I mean? Obviously, because of what I do, it kind of mandates that I need to upgrade, which I'm perfectly fine with. But I love this ScatPack. I love it. I love the sound, the look, all of it. So for you guys that's in the market for the perfect muscle car, and maybe you just, you know, on the fence about a lot of things, ScatPack Charger is the way to go. ScatPack Charger Widebody is definitely the way to go if you want the look of it as well. But that's just my 2 cents. As you can tell, I'm hot, sweating, so I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.